The state of Kansas provides some of the top whitetail hunting in the nation and has the habitat to grow them big. A good mix of timber, pastures, mature hedgerows, creek bottoms, agricultural fields, and CRP makes for a challenging but doable landscape for a bow hunter. In a state where visibility is usually vast, we have found it not only fun, but very effective to pack antlers and make a commotion.
It's October 26th. We have officially landed in Kansas. Not even gonna begin to tell you what the last few days have looked like for us. Had travel issues with the truck. We are back in the car, canoe strapped to the roof. We're gonna spend the rest of the day today and tomorrow scouting some of these spots. Chad actually hunted down here a couple of years ago. He was kind enough to share some pins. We're gonna hop in the boat right now, hop on the river to access some of these pieces and see what it looks like. The goal is to kind of pick out some trees and hang a couple of stands so we've got a few options ready to roll when we come back here, Peak Rut. We just brought the canoe probably 2 miles-ish up from where we threw in. We got to the first spot. Chad had a pin dropped right up over this bank. He said that it looked like a lot of deer crossing through here. There's a nice sandbar and it's just littered with deer tracks, so that's obviously a good sign. We're gonna go up here and see if we can't find that tree he was talking about and see what it looks like, but we're quite a ways away from civilization. It looks like there's a really good chunk of cover up here and another really nice chunk of cover up here, so I'd imagine those deer are gonna cross somewhere up in this area to go from cover to cover. Really good trail here. Pretty decent bed. By Kansas law, we gotta write our name and address on the stand, so we're gonna do that. Get one ran up this tree, and then I found another really good spot about 150, 200 yards east of here. Another really good pinch point. We're gonna run over there and do the same thing. We came down, kind of bumped down. There's an old logging road. There's a really thick patch of cedars right here. Probably almost, I'm gonna guess 10 acres in size. Bunch of ag down here in the bottom. There's a creek bed that runs down through this bottom, and there's a bunch of downfall and slash on this hill. So it kind of narrows it down to about 30 yards in between the cedar thicket and this downfall, and you can see there's 2 or 3 really good trails that come through here. November 14th, we got lucky and finally connected the dots in Iowa yesterday, and we got the deer to the cooler and drove down to Kansas. We've got, today's Sunday, I think we'll probably hunt through Thursday and then split for a few days and then come back if needed. Just never know. It's middle of November. Things are probably starting to just kick off down here, and I'm excited to get in the tree down here. It's been a couple years since I've hunted Kansas and looking forward to it.
Shortly after daylight, we had a nubbin come working across this thick stuff, come right up by us. A little while later, we had a nice looking young buck come from behind us. And then probably a half hour, 45 minutes ago, JP caught a glimpse of what he said is an absolute giant, about 100 yards north of us. He said he had to do a double take because when he first saw him standing there, he thought it was fake. And then all of a sudden he turned his head and headed up here towards the creek. A little while later, a young buck, 1.5 years old, he came out of there, so I'm thinking this big guy's got a doe up in this thick shit. and he ran that little buck out of there. I'd love to sit here all day, but we got some stuff we gotta do here midday, so we're gonna give it till probably 10 o'clock. We're gonna bang the antlers here and see if we can't piss him off and pull him out of this thick stuff. We ended up coming into a spot that Chad tipped me off on. It's a quick hitter. We're only 75 to 100 yards off the road. But there's a lot of thick cover, good bedding, all behind us here and running to the west. I just want him to come running like Larry Wise soon does it. No deer sightings. There must be a house probably 500 yards away from us. There's been a couple of kids outside yelling, arguing, cussing up a storm. So unless by an act of God, something walks by in the next 10 minutes, be backing out of here and coming up with a game plan for tomorrow morning. Just cracking light. JP and I snuck into a spot. We got in pretty clean, I think. We didn't hear any deer bust out of here. But what we got going here is we're on a kind of a grassy hillside. We're tucked up in a cedar tree. I'm only about 10 feet off the ground. There's some just absolute deer highways running past this cedar tree. But we got a nice wooded draw right here. Bunch of thick bedding down to the south of us. And there's a bunch of cedar bedding up here on the private. We're hoping to catch some bucks cruising here on this hillside today. Going on 9:30 right now. About an hour ago, we had two mature does come right underneath the tree, 15 yards, both of them with their mouths wide open. About 20 minutes later, a pretty good 2-year-old came down the same trail, nose to the ground, up into these cedars. And then probably 20 minutes ago, a nice 8-pointer, he might have been the one we seen early this morning, or a different one, pretty similar, but anyway, he come by, same trail, nose to the ground, and I decided I was going to shoot him, but I've only got about a 6-yard gap right here where I can shoot, and I grunt stopped him just before I was about to touch it off. He kept moving, and anyway, it wasn't meant to be. He went up into the draw. 5 minutes ago, we had a doe down in the bottom running through the long grass with a buck behind her. They came up on the hill across from us and looked like a really nice buck. I think he was a 10. Obviously, one of these does that came past at 15 is hot because we've had 2 bucks in the last hour nose to the ground right down the same trail. So we should be in a good position. That's going to be a wrap here on November 15th. Pretty good action this morning. Then it warmed up, and the action died way down. We weren't really sure how these deer were gonna react to it getting up to 75 degrees. We kind of figured the morning was gonna be when they moved. Tomorrow's gonna be almost identical conditions. So we are thinking that we are gonna try to slip back in here. We had really good action until about 10:30 yesterday morning. It's gonna warm back up, but we came back in here with the hopes that we'll see the same kind of activity we seen yesterday morning. It's been a ghost town in here this morning. What a difference a day can make. We had some hot does through here yesterday and the bucks were holding. We have not seen a single deer this morning. It's November 16th. We're not going to wait around for the action. We're going to climb down and make a move. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. We just came into a brand new spot. We drove by this spot a few weeks ago when we were down scouting. Never came into it, but we dropped a pin on it because it looked pretty good. But we're kind of in a low spot and our wind's actually blowing out the draw that we came up, which is perfect. Another slow evening here in Kansas. The spot just looks awesome. Yeah, it's skunked. I don't know if it's the warm temperatures or what. It's gotta be. We're gonna tear this set down and back out of here. We got high hopes for tomorrow. We've got about a 25-degree drop in temperature. It's just about 11 o'clock. We have not seen a deer. In fact, we have not seen a deer since 2 o'clock 2 days ago. So we've decided that we are pulling the plug up here. We're gonna back out and head into a different spot for the afternoon. Pretty slow afternoon. We did have one little buck cruise down through this bottom and walk the field edge behind us. I think what we're gonna do is leave a lot of our stuff in the tree and sneak back in here in the morning. We're gonna have a good wind for it. Conditions are gonna be the best we've had all week. It's day 5 of our first run down here in Kansas. It is absolutely perfect out this morning. Best weather we've had by a long shot. It's going on 11:30. What should have been the best day we've had, weather-wise, all week, has turned up a skunk for us today. Seen a bobcat and 2 coyotes, and that's it. A lot of times that's how it goes in November. You're either in the action or it's ice cold. And it was ice cold for us today, but we'll be back.
It's November 22nd. We're just got back to Kansas. We're just getting settled back into the room. Gun season comes in December 1st. We plan on hunting right up until opener if we have to, but hopefully we can get one knocked down this trip.
tree we sat a couple different times last week. We had one really good sitting here, and then we had a slow sit. A beautiful morning, down in the bright upper 20s right now. It's supposed to warm up today. We're expecting the morning to be good anyway. We've seen quite a few does this morning. Had a doe and 2 fawns come out of the cedars here. I think we had another doe come by this way. And then just about 5 minutes ago, we had a doe come past us she passed the tree at like 8 yards and kind of angled up this trail behind me. But she had her mouth wide open and she kept looking back. So we are optimistic that there's going to be a buck following her. It's been probably 45 minutes or so since that doe came through. Nothing behind her. Wind's starting to pick up. It's starting to warm up. So I think we're going to pack out of here. Got a few things to take care of and then come up with a plan for the afternoon. We're due. We're going to kill one here in Kansas. It's just a matter of when. It's November 24th. We are in a new spot today. Another piece of weehaw that we checked out last trip. And what it is a creek system that runs through a bunch of ag fields. We got cut beans to the east. We got cut corn to the west and cut corn to the south. And it's just a perfect setup for a buck to be cruising. Brought the decoy with us. He's sitting right over my shoulder here at about 15 yards. We can see quite a ways. Plan is to sit here until late morning, midday if the action's good. If we can lay eyes on something, I think we got a good chance of calling them in here. Right here. There's a good buck in the corn, JP. He's going right here, left to right behind that rise. See his rat rods. See him? Not yet. He's right up. Oh yeah, I see him. Oh yeah. Here we go, bud. Just gotta hope he sees that decoy. See it, bud. Now he does. forward, but he spun right when I shot. Got a lot of emotion running through my body right now. Excited. Scared shitless. Probably half hour ago, JP caught a deer like 600 yards away going across the cut corn into this drainage system. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, he comes onto our field. Probably had about 300, 350 yards, kind of right over this rise. And I cranked on the antlers, and he came on a string right to us. Came right here and gave me a chip shot at 15 yards. But right when I shot, like right as I touched the release off, he kind of shifted his body back and started to turn. And I hit him a touch high and a touch forward. I'm praying I got the top of a lung. But we watched him stay on his feet for probably close to 10 minutes. And he just slowly walked across the field, tail flickering and blood just running down his side. He was losing quite a bit of blood. Kind of a sick feeling. I mean, I hope we get this deer. He's freaking out. That's what bow hunting is. It's a game of inches, and that deer shifted his body just enough. Took me from a 12 ring to a freaking 8 ring, and praying the 8 ring got it done today. It's been probably 2.5 hours since I shot that deer. We just been sitting in the tree killing time. We just had a heavy old 8-pointer come past us at 22 yards. He came from the direction that other buck went. I feel like that's a given. Like you sit in a tree after you shoot something. Something like that always happens. At least to me it does.
It's going on 12:30 now. It's been 4.5 hours since a shot. We are rolling into this farm right now to ask for permission, beg for permission.
Send me a picture if you would.
Sounds good. I can certainly do that. I sure appreciate it.
You bet. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Huge sigh of relief. Now I just gotta find this deer. Went through some hoops to get permission, but we got permission.
Let's go find him.
Let's go get him.
We eased up here. JP actually picked a rack up. Probably 30 yards from us. It looks like it's down. But I'm gonna go up there at full draw and make sure. That was the wildest, craziest track job I've ever been a part of.
It's November 24th here in Kansas. We had a picture-perfect November morning. Slipped into a brand new piece of weehaw that we had never stepped foot on until last week. When I shot, he kind of ducked and turned all in one motion, and I hit him a little high and a little forward, and we waited 4 hours to take up the blood trail, and it is now 4:30, almost 5 o'clock in the evening. We just walked up on him. We had to shoot him one more time. He was still alive, barely breathing, but he's in my hands. He's got my tag on him, and I could not be happier with how the Kansas 2021 season played out. Another buck for Dad, but what a incredible way to finish the Kansas season.
November is a magical time of the year to be a bow hunter. You can be in the middle of the action one day and out of it the very next. The important thing to remember is that it only comes around once a year, and your luck can change faster than you can clip your release on your bow.